Hey guys, so I've noticed a few people are a little bit intimidated or are confused as to what heroes they should buy. So I just thought I'd give you guys a video just kind of trying to explain it and explain what heroes I think are really good for the money that you have to spend to get them and what heroes you should really have in your collection. I just want to mention before this is not a tier list. I do not think these heroes are particularly powerful in the pool of heroes, but I just think they're very strong heroes that are very that have a very good price tag, a very reasonable price tag. I also want to mention that if you don't, or if you are unaware, when you get heroes to level 5, you gain 500 gold. So therefore, I would suggest that everyone, whenever they can, get the free-to-play heroes of the week. In this case, it's the ones with this little symbol by the name. Get them to level 5, as it gives you a free 500 gold. So without further ado, let's talk about the heroes.
Well met, friend.
So the first hero I want to talk about is Valor. So the first hero I want to talk about is Valor. She's a ranged assassin. She only costs 2,000 gold, as you can see here, and she is incredibly strong for the money. Let's start again. So the first hero I want to talk about is Valor. She's a ranged assassin from Diablo. She's incredibly strong, I think, for the money. She's probably one of the best ranged assassins in the game. And she's just a very good person to have in your collection. I think it's been a while, but I think if you pre-ordered Diablo 3, or you pre-purchased, whatever you want to call it, Diablo 3, you should have Valor. If it's on the same account, obviously. If you don't, I don't know. It might be something else. I can't remember. So this is kind of what Valor looks like. This is the kind of things that you can expect to see in the game. This is obviously a master skin when you get to level 10. She's got some cool skins. This is obviously only a rare skin, so there's not much difference. She's a cool character. I think she's probably pretty essential to have in your collection. So without further ado, let's go into try mode, and I can kind of explain a little bit more about her, a little bit more about where she's strong and where she's not. So this is Valor as she appears in game. As I said before, she's a ranged assassin from the Diablo universe. She has a good set of skills for kind of being an all-round ranged assassin. She has a couple of builds that are really kind of in the meta and in style at the moment, and they are the multi-shot build and the auto-attack build. I'm just going to quickly go over the multi-shot build just so you know what it's all about. But first, let's talk about her abilities. So she has Hungering Arrow. It's a skill shot. When it fires out, it will damage the first thing it hits, and then will jump to 2 other enemies, dealing a little bit more damage. If someone's running away on their own and you fire this, it will hit that enemy 3 times, but obviously doing a little bit less damage. She has multi-shot, which is just deals damage in an area, and she has Vault, which isn't a skill shot but sends her flying in a direction. So this is what Hungering Arrow looks like. It looks slightly different when you hit someone, and that's what multi-shot looks like. Because of the nature of multi-shot and Vault and kind of Hungering Arrow, she's surprisingly good at clearing minion waves. So as you can see here, a good thing to do in the early game with Valor is kind of just to stay back and only cast multi-shot and make sure you're getting all the creep wave, and if you can, get the enemy hero as well, or enemy heroes. If you can't, don't worry about it. If you find yourself being ganked, being dived on, or just generally out of position, just vault away to safety. Don't worry about getting too many kills in the early game. As you'll notice, the problem that Valor has is mana. She can run out of mana extremely quickly, so I would really, unless you're committing to a kill, never use Vault aggressively. Never, just walk up if you have to. But if you're committing to a kill, use Hungering Arrow to get it. Otherwise, only use multi-shot and only use it on the creep wave. Next one is level 4. You just take none. No, hang on. Let's take level 1 talent. So level 1 talent is easy. It's just range of multi-shot. It just means that multi-shot goes a considerable amount further. At level 4, you normally take Arsenal, just because it means that you launch grenades. Those grenades don't do damage over the entire area, but it means that you'll do more damage, which is good for clearing waves and good for finishing people off. The next talent is Searing Attacks, and that's only really because none of the other talents are really very good. Searing Attacks in the late game can really help you secure a kill by making your auto attacks hit a lot harder. Your ultis, I would take Strafe, just because I think Strafe is much stronger. Strafe looks like this. Or within that circle you see around Valor at the moment, it deals damage. Like that, it deals a lot of damage. It can be interrupted by knockback, stuns, or any other form of hard CC, like polymorphs or whatever. It deals a lot of damage, really. It's kind of a kill move, chase move. You can vault while doing it as well, which is very, very nice.
Choose a talent.
Next talent is Frost Shot, which means that you can slow people, which means that you can run away from them, you can chase them, which adds a lot of utility to the multi-shot build. The next one normally is either Blood for Blood or Stone Skin. I kind of prefer Blood for Blood because if someone's running away you can get a good heal off, and you shouldn't be getting focused as Valor in the first place, you shouldn't really be in harm's way. So I'll just take Blood for Blood, and then level 20, so you can really kind of take whatever one you want. I take Nexus Frenzy just because when you get into the level 20 stage of the game, your ult is going to be incredibly strong, and the buff isn't that good compared to the buff you get from the Nexus Frenzy. It just means that you can shoot for bloody miles, and it does a lot of damage. Or it does a lot of damage anyway, especially if you have searing attacks, and it attacks 20% faster. That's basically Valor. A few tips are: never go in front of your tank. You will get caught out and owned if you find yourself with Vault on cooldown and you're in the front lines. Kind of try and stay back behind the minion wave. Just make sure in the early game you're clearing the minion wave. Once you get to level 10, hang back from the fight. Don't charge in first. Let your tank do it, or at the very least your initiator. Try and use strafe to damage as many people as possible. Don't be annoyed if you don't get the full duration off. As long as you get some of it off, you can do a lot of damage. Don't be afraid to chase, and again, really try and refrain from using Vault aggressively. Right, that's Valor done. Let's look at the next hero. So the next hero I want to talk about is ETC. 2000 gold, warrior. The last Valor obviously was an assassin. This guy's a warrior. He is one of the more fun warriors, in my opinion. I think he's incredibly strong at the moment. Incredibly strong. He's probably in the top 2, if not definitely in the top 3 warriors. He works by sliding into the enemy team and then either locking them down, pushing them away, getting them out of position, and he has guitar solo, which is basically allows him to every so often just regenerate his health. And his other ult, Stage Dive, was his second ult. I'll talk about the first ult in a few seconds. Stage Dive allows him to be anywhere on the map, wherever he wants at once. And in my opinion, he has some awesome looking skins. So his first skin is kind of cool. I don't really like the middle tint, but I don't really like the first tint either. I think the only really good tint is the last tint. His master skin looks awesome, particularly some of the black and gold tint just looks amazing. Glamrock a lot of people like. I think it's kind of cool. And of course Country, which I own. So let's just have a look and see what he looks like and how he plays in game. This is how our elite Tauren chieftain looks in game. He has 3 moves, as most heroes do in this game. His first move is a skill shot power slide. He slides forward, dealing moderate damage, mild damage really, and stunning everything in his path. This combos extremely well with his W, which knocks enemies back and does a little bit of damage to them, so you can slide through them and then knock them back the way you came, and thus normally into your enemy team. Normally comboed like so: slide through, wait a beat to get an auto attack off, and then W to push them away. His last move is guitar solo, means that pops it, makes a little sound, and his health comes up. He has a few problems with mana. If you don't spam your moves, you shouldn't run out of mana, so don't really worry about it. The first ability I normally take is Running Like a Stone, which means that power slide slides further. Just generally good, because engaging at that short distance is kind of difficult, just makes it a little easier. Second one is Double Necked Guitar. It means that you get to where you want to be faster, and it means that you're going to stun a lot more people. You don't collide with enemy units when you're using Q, so you can just slide through loads of people. You can slide through the whole team and stun them all. Very useful. Next talent is Loudspeakers, and I'll show you why in just a second. So the basic combo is slide through, auto, knock him back, and as you see, it knocks him back a lot further, and it means it hits a lot further as well. As you can see, it's a really big distance now. So the next talent, a lot of people kind of really will swear by Stage Dive. I don't. I think Mosh Pit's so much stronger. So the ideal use of it is, say you see someone skirmishing like this, you slide into them, stun a few members of the team, and then for the whole duration, everyone and every enemy in the zone is stunned. Just really, really powerful. Literally team fight winning and thus game winning ability if used right. The 5-man Mosh Pit is a dream that most ETCs only aspire to, and me being one of them. I like taking Showstopper there. It means that when you slide in for the first 4 seconds, you're going to take less damage. So if for some reason they decide to try and burst you down, you just take a lot less damage for that period. You can save your life a little bit, and none of the other talents there are really very good. Guitar solo is quite good, but you're sliding away from so many of your allies that it's not going to be up most of the time. Even though when it is up outside of a team fight or whatever, it is a considerable heal.
Choose a talent.
16. A lot of people like Imposing Presence. Me being one of those people, I can kind of see why you wouldn't like it. Excuse me. But I think it's the best talent in this tier. A lot of you can go with Echo Pedal, I guess, if you're struggling for damage, or you can even go with Move Speed if you have real trouble chasing. I don't like Face Melt. I think a lot of people don't like Face Melt at all, just because it can disrupt things like AoE centric heroes, because it obviously pushes them out of the way. Heroes like Tychus and Jaina and Kel'Thas, it can really screw them up. So I don't like having it knock them away a second time. So I normally pick between Echo Pedal or Imposing Presence. Normally Imposing Presence.
Choose a talent.
At level 20, in my opinion, it is my favourite talent ever made. It is the ability to reposition your mosh pit. So normally, if you mosh pit, as you can see, there's a little bit of a cast time, as you'll see in a second, like that. They can move out of that. What you can do now is you can slide in and stun them again. Incredibly good for if you're doing so if you're really going for a crazy play, you can hide in the bush, pop mosh pit, and then slide out the bush and just get that whole team. And it lasts a lot longer when you do it like that, as you can see. Great move, great combination. So that's ECC. Very strong warrior, very good. If you're lacking a warrior, he fits into most team compositions incredibly well, and I think he's a very good pickup for 2,000 gold. Right, next hero. So I want to mention Malfurion here because he's a support. He's a good support. So that means that we have now, for a cheap collection, for 6,000 gold, you can get an assassin, a warrior, and a support, all of which are good. None of them are bad. None of them are gonna. Your team's not gonna rage at you. Your team's not gonna think that you've picked bad, and you're not gonna feel underpowered just for having or picking these heroes. You're gonna do very well. Malfurion, ranged support from the Warcraft universe, very easy to play. Can really pull off some really good plays. Is a lot of fun to play. And synergizes amazingly well with some players, specifically assassins. I think his skin's pretty cool. I like how he's got like a kind of a standard nature thing and then a dark thing going on. I don't really know what the white tint's about, but his skins, some of his skins are a little bit crazy. This is obviously his master skin. I went to the launch event and I was given a Storm Mantle Malfurion skin, which is kind of cool, and his Betrayer Malfurion, which is apparently the most popular one. Looks a little bit like that. So let's pop into the shop, into the try mode, sorry, and see how he plays. So this is Malfurion. As you can probably see, he looks a lot like a druid, not like he looks in World of Warcraft, because he is one. When you play him, you're probably going to want to play him most of the time for full damage. Oh God, for full healing. Never build him for full damage. It's fairly obvious the talents you're going to choose, but I just thought I'd go over them anyway. He's normally, hence there being 2 Malfurions here, this isn't going to be very fun, but I'm the one who's out of the way a little bit, who's normally not on his horse. So the first talent I like to go for is Conjurer's Pursuit. Malfurion can have a lot of mana problems in the early mid, and even in the late game sometimes, so I like to take Conjurer's Pursuit. But before we talk about talents anymore, let's go over his abilities. So his Q, Regrowth. If you play World of Warcraft, it does the same thing. Restores a little bit of health quickly, and then restores about double that amount over a few seconds. His W is Moonfire, long range little poke. Bang, there it goes. This is what Regrowth looks like. And his E is a zone where it roots people. So it starts in the inner circle and then spreads to the outer circle. So if you see when I throw it down the outer circle, see how long it takes for artists to get rooted? He didn't do it there because he moved. But you see how long he was in the zone, for want of a better phrase, for, and he still didn't get hit by it. Put it in the middle, he's rooted a lot quicker. This is a little tip that a lot of Malfurions don't really know about. And he's one of my favourite support heroes because of his trait. Innovate. If you played Warcraft, you know what it does, but it means you can't cast it on yourself. You can cast it on allies, and it restores a significant amount of mana. This is why he works incredibly well with heroes like Kel'Thas and heroes like Jaina, who have really bad mana problems early on. To get the maximum efficiency out of Conjurer's Pursuit, the first talent, you want to make sure the wizard dies in a safe position, go out and secure the regen globe, and then just kind of retreat. Obviously, someone nearby you can do the same. You just need to make sure you get as many of them as possible.
Choose a talent.
Level 4, Protective Shield's a pretty easy one. Since the nerf to Healing Ward, it's not that good anymore. And Protective Shield is just so strong. It becomes an active move, you just press 1 to cast it, and when you cast it, you can just throw it on an ally, and it acts as a shield, absorbing a significant amount of damage for a significant amount of time. Obviously, once the shield is done, is used, they will receive damage to their HP. I like to take Enduring Growth here just because it's kind of more bang for your buck, really. It means that regrowth lasts a lot longer and then heals for a lot more, just by proxy almost. Level 10, you can kind of pick either of these. In all honesty, I don't consider myself good enough, and I don't consider myself the role I play as an Malfurion to be profitable enough to take Twilight Dream, so I more often than not take Tranquility. What it is it's just a heal that just heals incredible amounts over a small amount of time. You know it's gone off because everyone can hear that sound. If you stand in this zone, you're going to get healed a significant amount. Please be aware that you can still cast your abilities, including Regrowth in this, and Innovate and stuff, so don't be afraid to just spam your abilities while it's going off. And once you've cast it, it no longer costs any mana, so you won't have to worry about running out of mana and cutting the duration short. At level 13, I like Life Seed. Again, it's just kind of free heals. It just means that every so often someone around is going to get a heal. You can take Shrink Ray if you're really having a problem with 1 or 2 heroes on the enemy team just kind of blowing your team up and not being able to deal with them. You can take Shrink Ray to kind of deal with that. You can take our Ice Block if you find yourself really far in the front lines and about to die a lot. You can take that. I don't think you should take Full Moon Fire under 90% of circumstance. At level 16, you kind of have free reign, or rather free reign between these two abilities. Hardened Focus is good if you find yourself at half health a lot, high health a lot, because it means that you're going to be healing a lot more. You're going to just be casting your abilities a lot more than usual. But if you are having trouble locking them down, or your entangling routes are incredibly successful, you can take stronger routes like I've just done, because I like it, I think it's fun. And it just means that your entangling routes is a lot bigger, lasts a lot longer, and is a lot more difficult to deal with, so you can just route and slow a lot of people down a lot quicker. Obviously, Hardened Focus is great if you find yourself on high health a lot, and they haven't got that much of a poke composition.
Choose a talent.
The last talent I like to go for is Storm Shield. This is because 3 seconds, 20% of your max HP. So this is just a quick what the cooldown on life seed is. So as you can see, it went on Malfurion. I didn't have to cast it, but I mean it's not going to go on anyone for another 10 seconds. Storm Shield, press 3. Everyone around you gets 20% of all allies around you get 20% of their max health as a shield. Boom! It's just incredibly good if you're in the middle of a team fight, or you're about to engage a team fight and it's only got 45-second cooldown. Malfurion, very strong support. I think you should pick him up if you haven't already. He's a great addition to any collection, and he's just good all round, and he's a very good price.
Yes.
So that was the last 2k 2,000 gold hero. Now we're going to move on to some of the 4,000 gold heroes. I think people should look at Illidan. Now, I want people to be very aware when they see Illidan and when they buy Illidan and when they play Illidan. His difficulty is very hard for a reason. If you don't know how to play him, or you don't play him with your team in the right style, you will die an awful lot. You have to be very careful how you use him and where you use him. I've done a whole video about how good is Illidan, but the audio is a little bit broken. So I'm just going to quickly go over him now to see what he looks like. But first, let's take a look at his skins. I like his skins. I think his skin tints are awesome. Obviously, if you like the way he looks in Warcraft, you'll like this one. The Master skin is just a little bit intimidating to enemy players. It looks a little bit strange, in all honesty. I kind of like it. It looks kind of cool. I like Shando Illidan as well, just because you've got Betrayer Malfurion. I like the kind of crossover between the two. And Spectre Illidan if you don't want him to look... If you don't...
It was I who was betrayed.
Wow. If you don't like the way he looks from the Warcraft universe, you can get this skin and make him look like he's from StarCraft. To be honest, this skin, and particularly this tint, is probably my favourite of them all. Let's drop into try mode and see how he plays. This is Illidan, the Demon Hunter, the Betrayer. He is a melee assassin. He is quite often referred to as the Diver. He will jump into your backline if he's on, if you're against him, and kind of ruin your day. Unfortunately, because you're only against one guy, we're not really going to see what jumping into your backline is like. But quickly, let's go over his abilities so you can kind of see how he does that. So his Q is Dive. You go to a target, flip over them, dealing a small amount of damage, and you slow them down for the duration. It sounds strange, but if you take a look at it, the whole time he's kind of flipping about. I'll do it from another angle so it's a little bit clearer. But the whole time he's flipping over the target, they are slowed as if they are body blocked, if that makes sense. His W is a kind of simple no collide slide, which increases his basic attack damage. See what that looks like. See how everything there took damage. So you dive to get out. And I didn't collide with any of them, I just kind of slid through them all. His E is evasion, evade any basic attacks. This is just swings or shots or whatever you want to call them. This is not abilities, it does do nothing to abilities. What it does mean is if you end up getting turned on by the AI, you can quickly pop that and make sure that their basic attacks will do no damage to you for 2 seconds. His trait is very important. If you just take a few seconds to read that, you'll see that basic attacks heal you and reduce your ability cooldowns. So this is why sometimes Illidan seems to have no cooldowns whatsoever. It's because a good Illidan will know that if, say, like, I slide in or I dive in and then you manage to get away from me so I can't use another ability on you, and then all of a sudden you see me just use an ability straight away, it's more often than not because I'm just constantly attacking. I'm using my downtime just to attack things to heal me up and to get my abilities off cooldown so I can use them again. It's very important that you kind of take that into consideration when you're in a team fight as Illidan, that you're going to need to be continuously attacking to really get full emphasis off. But he's only very good against certain heroes whose damage comes mainly from their basic attacks. This is heroes like Valor and heroes like Reyna. If you are not up against heroes like that, if you're up against heroes whose damage comes mainly from abilities, you're going to have a very difficult time isolating them and killing them with ease. You probably can still do it if you're very good, but again, it's going to be slightly difficult. A couple of things to look out for when playing Illidan is the dive. You will put yourself at a severe forward point, and you may isolate yourself from your team very, very quickly. I would very much advise against, if you're new to Illidan, engaging with W. I consider myself not new to Illidan, I still don't do it. I would use W purely as an escape. So if I were to dive Arthas now and then realise, oh my god, there's 4 of them behind me, this is how I'd handle it. Dive Arthas, oh my god, there's 4 of them, run for a few seconds and then slide away. And if you're really, really desperate, you can do the kind of the patient move. So say Arthas is running back and I'm all the way back here, I can run into the minion wave, get a couple of attacks off, and then dive and then slide. Those are some few advanced plays that you can make, but you really have to be aware of you need to be aggressive to really use Illidan to his full potential. Let's have a look at his build. Now his build might seem pretty strange, but basically the philosophy behind it is he has enough damage on his own, let's build him so he can survive longer so he doesn't get instantly blown up. To that same vein, we take Shadow Shield. It's pretty simple, got shield and evasion. As you can see, pop evasion, get a little bit of a shield. It's not that big, but it's enough to make a bit of a difference. And the big deal, the big point of it is it lasts after evasion. Once evasion is worn off, you will still have that shield for 3 seconds. Next talent you take is Immolation. Means that when you're sliding, you can clear minion waves, you can open chests and stuff. It just means that you deal more damage, and there isn't anything on there that allows you to survive, really. And I really like that talent. I think it's probably the best talent on that tier. That tier is a little bit underwhelming. First aid, pretty essential here. It means that if, so say, you're going to attack Arthas and you have low HP, you can dive. I couldn't dive there because it was retreating, but you can dive, first aid, and then you can really stay in the fight for a lot longer than you would otherwise do. Obviously, I'm not going to get the effects of it, but basically, it just heals you for 35% of your base HP. What ults do you pick? Now, if you just want to know what ult to pick to get the best build, Metamorphosis. I'll explain why. Metamorphosis has a lot more utility than the Hunt, and in my opinion is a lot better than the Hunt. The Hunt is just kind of a let's finish off this guy who's already most likely on low health. Metamorphosis allows you to turn a team fight, it allows you to deal significant damage, it allows you to do all kinds of stuff, it allows you to go invincible for a few seconds. It's just crazy strong. So to give you a kind of rundown of what happens, and I'll show you how it looks. When you cast this, you find a location. When that location will be displayed to everyone, so that'll be a big mark on the floor, and then everyone knows where you're going to appear. Enemy heroes that are hit by it, that stay in that zone while you appear, take a fairly big hit. More importantly, the more enemies that are hit, the more maximum HP you are going to gain from this. And then while you're under the effects of it, you'll be a lot more difficult to kill because you have more max HP, and you'll be healing for a lot more, but you'll also deal a lot more damage because you have 20% attack speed. Let me just quickly show you how that looks. And because of that increased attack speed, that synergizes incredibly well with your trait. So it means if you're attacking all the time, you will cool your abilities down 20% faster, which is incredible.
Choose a talent.
The next talent you take is kind of your choice. If you're new to Illidan, I would always suggest Sixth Sense. If you kind of have a little bit more confidence in Illidan, you can take Giant Killer if you want, but only ever pick between these two. Basically, to sum it up, if they have a lot of high HP heroes, take Giant Killer. You'll be able to cut through them really easily. If they have a lot of high damage or high ability damage heroes like Jaina, Kel'Thas, take Sixth Sense. You'll be able to survive a lot longer. Don't be afraid to time your evasion, because at this level you can't get blown up super quick. Don't be afraid to time your Sixth Sense to avoid a massive hit like Pyroblast.
Choose a talent.
At level 16, I like Stone Skin. It's very difficult, in my opinion, to cast your abilities to maximum efficiency and get a blood for blood off. I like Stone Skin because it has maximum HP, so you're probably going to get more of a heal off of it anyway. And both of these two synergize incredibly well with Metamorphosis. You jump in on all 5 of them, on all 5 of the enemy team, you get a massive maximum HP buff. You can cast both of those abilities, and it's down and impossible for them to kill you. At level 20,
Choose a talent.
I like to take Demonic Form lasts forever, because it's incredible. It means that you are even more difficult to kill because you essentially have permanent relentless, which is awesome, and you can mount, so you don't take any movement speed penalties, and your attack speed lasts even longer, and you can still recast it. A lot of people don't realise this. When you cast it once, as I'll show you here, you're permanently in demon form. I have no timer, I'm in this permanently, but if I wait 2 minutes later, I can cast it again, getting the exact same invincibility, doing the exact same damage, and getting the exact same. If I want, I'll get more maximum HP out of it. It will reset the original HP counter, so you can't just continuously cast it and get a potentially limitless HP pool. It doesn't work like that. That's Illidan. He is 4K. I think he's an incredibly good melee assassin and incredibly good for the money you have to spend on him. Let's take a look at a couple more heroes.
Hey, how's it going?
So I want to mention Gazlo purely because I've mentioned every other role in the game apart from Specialist, and I'm under the impression, my opinion is that you should get one of each role that allows you to churn out daily quests whenever you want, and you don't have to worry about having a free hero. A hero free on the rotation that you enjoy. You might not like Gazlo, but you can continuously level him if you really want to. I'm not very good at him, so I'm not going to spend too long on him. I'll go over a build very, very quickly, but I'm not going to spend that long on him just because I'm not very good at him. But quickly, let's take a look at his skins. I think they're kind of cool. I like the way Gazlo looks. His mask skin, as a lot of people say, is a bit of a cop-out. I can kind of agree with that a little bit. It's just a little bit silly. Big Top Gazlo is as terrifying as it looks, and Mad Martian Gazlo is pretty cool. Let's quickly go into try mode and see how it plays. So this is Gazlo. Say hi. Gazlo is very different. As you see, he's a specialist. A lot of specialists are very different. He plays with turrets. I'll show you what that looks like right now. He throws down these turrets. This zone is where the turret can shoot, and the turret will shoot any enemies that pass through it. As you can imagine, this is unique. There is no other hero in the game that has turrets like this. He is kind of, as the game suggests, a specialist. He will specialise in holding a zone down and then not allowing enemies to pass it. Just to quickly go over that move. Creates turret that deals 30 damage the last 30 seconds. As you see, the cooldown is only 15 seconds. You can have a lot of these turrets up at once. His other move, Death Laser, just because the skill shot can look confusing, it is a skill shot, but I'll show you how that looks. Start casting it. You can no longer move once you start casting it. The arrow grows and builds. Once it reaches that charge, it fires. You can left click at any point to fire it early, but it will do less damage and will do less range. The range you see as it slides up is the range it will hit for. His last move is Explodium Charge. Simple, easy to avoid if it's against you. Counts down, deals damage, stuns. Pretty simple, does a fair amount of damage actually. One of his important traits, one of his important abilities that not a lot of people realise, is the ability to turn things into scrap. So you kind of need to take a look at this trait to really understand it. Destroying enemy structures and getting your turrets to scrap. This allows your abilities to come up quicker and you to have mana. And what you should do is you should just, whenever a turret's like in this position here, the minion waves move too far forward, scrap it. You see that little blue thing on the floor? I'll make another one and show you. That little blue thing on the floor there, that little screw, just kind of look for it. If it drops, go and pick it up. It means that you're going to get ability cooldowns and you're going to get a lot of mana back. The build, if I ever play him, I like to go for is extra TNT. It gives him incredible wave clearing, mercenary clearing, potential. Means that when this blows up, it hits for a lot harder, as you can see. Level 4, again, I'm not very good with Gazza, so I'm not going to spend too much time on him. I like to go with Reduce, Reuse, Recycle, just because it means that you can get a lot more scrap, it means you have a lot more sustain in lane. At level 7, I like to go for Rocket Turret XL. It just means that they look slightly different and they can hit a lot more people. It just means that it's great for clearing mercenary camps and clearing minion waves. At level 10, I like to go for Grab Bomb. It does a significant amount of damage and pulls things towards the centre, like this. And so that can synergize incredibly well with moves that have that are very small AoE but do a very high amount of damage. At level 13, I like to go for turret storage just because it means that I can throw down a lot more turrets. This is obviously awful positioning, never positioning your turrets like this ever. You should always put them at one spot on a lane. Okay, we can get that scrap. At level 16,
Choose a talent.
I go for I pick between these two really. The turret range increase is obviously fantastic because it means that it can go a lot further. But quick release charge is good if you really find if you're jungling basically. If you're going in between camps, going in between lanes and just kind of getting loads of mercenary camps, which is a role that Gazlo can play. And at level 20, I like to pick
Choose a talent.
increased radius of grab bomb and increased damage on it. So if I could just display it on Arthas hopefully. A lot quicker. Oh sorry, a lot bigger, and it just kind of allows you to get a lot more damage up a lot quicker. Gazlo's incredibly good at pushing structures because of his turrets and because of his skill set. He's incredibly good at holding and denying lanes, denying zones to people, and he's incredibly good at getting mercenary camps because of his ability to not take damage while doing so. So he really plays very uniquely. I don't know much about him. If you really want to play Gazlo, you really want to learn Gazlo, you really think he's someone you might enjoy, look up a guide on YouTube. There are some fantastic guides by much better people than me at this game. And yeah, just give him a go, give him a look, and he only costs 4,000. That is gonna be it, really. Those are the heroes that I really think you should look at buying quickly. You should look at buying at the start of the game. I think they're really, really good to just have in your collection to begin with. A few honourable mentions if you find yourself with those heroes or with a number of those heroes and you don't really know who else to get. The first one I've mentioned is Anubarak. He's 4,000 gold.
My eternal servitude.
He's a warrior, but he's more of an initiator than an actual tank. He can be a unique experience. He has a lot of beetles that go around with him. He is a good character. If you like warriors and you want to try a new one, Anubarak might be the one for you. Another mention goes to Tychus Finley from the StarCraft universe.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say that he is incredibly weak at the moment. I can kind of see where they're getting that idea, but again, he's very unique. He's a ranged assassin, but he has a wind-up timer on his gun. He plays differently to other ranged assassins. Give him a try before you buy him. If you do like the look of him or you like the look of his abilities, give him a go. I will just mention quickly that his kind of difference, the thing that makes him unique, is that he has a minigun. His minigun doesn't attack instantly. It has to wind up first unless you use an ability to wind it up, but then it deals significant damage. You can just melt things very, very quickly. But the trade-off of that is he has incredibly short range, and if his minigun isn't at speed, he is kind of vulnerable. If you really have a lot of money to spend and nothing to spend it on, and you really want some really powerhouse heroes, just because I haven't mentioned that many of them, I would say Uther, 7,000. Again, if you have a lot of gold. Do I not own Uther? I do own Uther. Okay. He's a very, very good hero, very good support, always good to have in your repertoire of heroes. If you like sports, I will mention him. He's very good. Just there's not much else to say about him. He's just very, very, very strong pick. But again, he is 7,000, so only really take him if you're really sure you you will like the role of support. Right, that is going to be it. I really hope this guide helped. If you want guides on more specific heroes, please let me know. If you want other guides like this, please let me know. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.